So I have the camera on a GorillaPod that is on a chair. It works. As long as it works, it's okay, but it looks so ghetto. Updating, this is not really like you care. The number one question that I always get is from people back home that are like, what's California like? How's California? How are you liking California? Blah, 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 blah. So I thought I would take those questions that I usually get and put into kind of a Q&A video. Miles wanted to know, would you ever be able to live in a small town again? That is a great question. The answer is hell no. I love California. I love cities. I've always loved cities. In the Midwest, the closest place that we could go to a mall or anything like that was like an hour away. Here, I have like 6 Walmarts in like a 5-mile radius. I have like Best Buy, I have Starbucks. Every corner, there's a Starbucks. I could not live in a small town again. I never liked living in a small town. Hikari's distracting me right now. I was born and raised in Georgia. So Georgia's like my home to me. I love Georgia and I love Atlanta. So I grew up about 30-40 minutes away from Atlanta. So I was near a suburban urban area and I loved having Atlanta so close and being able to do so many things that when I moved to the Midwest, everything went downhill. I never liked living in the Midwest. Do you like InNOut burger better than Steak and Shake? No. One thing about California is InNOut burger. It is like a godsend here. Everyone loves InNOut burger. And I don't. I prefer Steak and Shake. And in California, people don't know what Steak and Shake is. And that's just different for them. They have no clue what a Steak and Shake is. And then I say it's kind of like InNOut burger, but way better. And they're just like, there's no way. InNOut burger is cheaper, way cheaper than Steak and Shake. But the quality of food that you get and the small portions that you get, they don't taste as good. So InNOut burger was kind of a big disappointment when I came out to California. And no, it is not better than Steak and Shake. Another thing that, this wasn't a question, but another thing that I miss about the Midwest is Cracker Barrel. They do not know what a Cracker Barrel is. They have the closest Cracker Barrel is like Nevada. So Cracker Barrel is not a thing here, and I miss Cracker Barrels. Kelsey wants to know, what is your favorite thing about California? My favorite thing about California is the people, and the mindset here is way different than in the Midwest. Diverse types of people and different walks of life. I love different people coming together and blah, blah, blah. That is fun. Another part is I have everything so close now. So everything is within like 10-15 minutes of me, and it's so nice, and I don't have to go an hour just to go and pick out clothes. Emily wants to know, was it easier being open about and to yourself in a bigger city? It is way easier being open about who I am in a bigger city that I know no one. Because back home, everyone knows me as like a certain person, and it's hard to change yourself when you've grown up with these people, and it's very hard to, especially the mindset in the Midwest, it's way harder to be who you want to be. When I lived in the Midwest, I felt like I was putting on like a facade to wear, fancy, a facade for people that this isn't really who I was. I didn't really feel comfortable in my own skin, all that jazz. Alex wants to know, was it hard finding yourself, your place in California when you moved there not knowing anyone? Moving somewhere new, you get a whole new life, you get a whole new whatever, and you can be whoever you want to be. And that's what I did. That's one thing that I loved about moving to California, was they're more open, and I could say, hey, you know, my name's Finn, and they were like, okay, cool. I went from like junior high to high school in a Midwestern small town. Everyone knew you as a certain person, and it's hard to change, especially your gender, to fit how you wanted to to feel and your mind, blah, blah, blah. In the Midwest, people don't get that. People don't know what it's like to think that way or feel that way. In California, people are way more accepting of it, way easier to move. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, don't run away from who you are, don't run away from your problems, blah, blah, blah. I say, shut up. If it will help you be who you want to be, yeah, do it. Especially when you go from a negative part in your life, like a piece of your life, and you go and try to make it better in a positive way, do it. I don't care who you are, whatever you say, that is good no matter who you are. No, it was not hard finding my place. I feel like California is definitely the place for me. My mindset, there are like little things. My mindset in Midwest was very California now that I think about it. I was very open to different people, different ideas, different, genders in the Midwest, and a lot of people weren't. That when I came out to California, it was way easier than I could say, hey, I do agree that there are more than one gender. I do agree that gay marriage is amazing. I do agree, blah, blah, blah. But in the Midwest, you can't really be like that. You can't be as open with your views as you can in California. And was it hard when you moved there not knowing anyone? Not really. I am an introvert. In high school, I didn't really have a lot of friends. So, I had like four friends. Moving here was like amazing because I could like start over and have new friends and all that. Emily, Alex, yes, it is way easier finding yourself in California for me personally, and especially coming out was like way easier when I moved, because back home I wouldn't. I think back home the reason why I came out before I left was to say, hey, I've been thinking this way for a while, and I didn't have a lot of people. I came out like a month before I left, and then I moved here, and then I started over, because I feel like I came out a month before I left because it was easier for me to like kind of transition over to like coming out to everybody in California. Samantha wants to know, how did you find your first job? What is one of the first things you did while you were there? And where is your favorite place to go? How did I find my job? I just was exploring one day, and there was a hiring sign, and I said, you know what, let me go in there and say, hey, and then I got hired. It was just kind of like, hey, walk in, say, hey, you're hiring, send my application in, my resume, and blah, blah, blah. There, I was hired. The funny part is that everyone I work with, except for one person, is in the LGBT community. And that is amazing. That is what I love about working there, is that I didn't know it when I started, but after a while of working there, everybody was like queer or like gender neutral or like trans. And I was like, this is fun. This is nice. So basically everyone I work with, except for one person that I work with, is of the LGBT community. And it is so nice. One of the first things that I did, I think we went exploring a lot. I think that's one thing that me and Mom did, was we wanted to see California, and so we went shopping a lot. And where is your favorite place to go? Right now, San Francisco, because I loved San Francisco. I felt like San Francisco was the place to go. Oh my god. Oh, I waved at him. He didn't wave back. So I have the window here. My neighbors are like walking by and he just like looked at me like, and I'm like, my favorite place to go right now is San Francisco and Santa Cruz. I love San Francisco, and hopefully I'm going there next week, so that's gonna be fun. Bethany wants to know, what's the best beach in Cali, in your opinion? I've only been to one beach since I've been here, and the reason for that is I hate the beach. I do not like the beach. I do not like the ocean. I am deathly afraid of the ocean. The beach is boring to me. I constantly have to be doing something or thinking. I can't just relax. That's my problem. Is I have no way of just laying there on the beach for hours like some people. I'm a pretty small person, so I don't like not having control of my body. And when you're in the waves You can't do nothing. That's like, if a wave crashes down on you, you're gone. I'm gone. I don't have a lot of strength to like hold me up or whatever. It's gonna go. So that's one thing, is I do not like the ocean. I also don't like deep water, and I don't like sharks. I've always wanted to learn how to surf, but I feel like that's never gonna happen because of my, But so far the best beach I've been to is Santa Cruz. That's probably the only beach I've been to, so it's like, I'll go to more beaches and I'll tell you later. Lucas asked, are people nicer? Yes, people are way nicer in California, which is funny because every Californian that I tell and I say, you guys are way nicer than people in the Midwest, they look at me like, I thought California was like really mean. Like, no, Californian people are really nice. They're like the nicest people. I also like Georgia a lot, so like, Georgians are really nice. I don't care what anyone says. I have not met any famous people. That's another question that I usually get is, have you met anyone famous yet? And like, no, it doesn't really work like that. Maybe if I go to LA, maybe, but no, I've not met anyone famous. Is traffic really as bad as people say? Yes, traffic is very bad here. A trip to Santa Cruz is like 30 minutes. In traffic, it's 2 hours. Dakota wants to know, what is it like going from a small town, farmland, forest plains like environment to a city, desert, beachy, hilly one? I love it. I hated the Midwest because it is flat and you have crops and it is so boring to look at. But here, we have hills. We have like mountains. They are crazy. And we have hills and we have palm trees and everything is so beautiful in California. I'm like, it is so nice. Shay wants to know, if you could ask one question of any person, past, present, or future, dead or alive, who and what would you ask? It would be Heath Ledger, and I would want to talk about life. Like, I don't know, I would love to just sit down with Heath Ledger, just me and him, and just talk about advice that he could give me. I think that would make my day. What is it like leaving a legacy, and you could have done all these things, how do you feel about dying so young? Another person that I would love to sit down and talk with would be James Dean. I've been obsessed with James Dean lately, I don't know why, because I felt like his mindset was way different than a lot of people of that time. I would love to just sit down and have a nice chat with James Dean or Heath Ledger. And I would probably ask, what is it like leaving a legacy? And like, what would you have done if you didn't die so young? What else would you like to achieve in life? Will you ever come back home? Which I don't consider it home in the first place. I consider Georgia and Atlanta home. I feel like my hometown is Georgia. I grew up in Georgia. I felt like that is my place where I am from. And I feel like the Midwest is just a small portion of my life that I lived in and, had an experience and met people there, but I don't consider it home. Now that I've lived here long enough, I don't want to go back. And for the friends that I still have back home, I don't want to say I'm not coming back because I don't want to, I'm sad to say that, but I don't want to. There's nothing for me in the Midwest anymore, that there's no reason for me to come back. The only reason I would come back would be to, talk and see my old teachers and see the 2-3 friends that I still talk to. If you have any other questions about California, the more I live here, I feel like the more, there's way more that I could tell you. I might do a story time because I have a few stories since living here that would definitely be very interesting for a lot of people back to home. I've experienced a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. I've experienced a lot. But if you guys want to hear any stories about me living in California, I have some pretty wild stories since living out here and memories that I've had that I would love to share with you guys. Filming or filmmaking or like movies or whatever, you guys can ask that too. But if you have any other questions, just comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe and like and share. I want to try to get to 100 subscribers, so please subscribe and tell your friends and share and like. Right, okay, I remembered. I used my Professor X mind to remember. In April, I am going to be making a Fridays video, hopefully, every Friday. So hopefully Wednesdays, maybe not. Maybe every other Wednesday I'll make a video. But Fridays, I will try to make a Fridays with Finn, like film Fridays or whatever, to where I talk about films and movies and my opinions of things. So that's gonna start in April. So every Friday it'll be Film Fridays with Finn. And that sounds so weird. Film Fridays with Finn. I'll still post on Wednesdays, but I feel like Wednesdays will be more of a vlogging type Wednesdays, and then like a life thing, and then Fridays will be like film. But that's coming in April, so make sure you are subscribed so you will get those. That's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be fun. Ooh. Hey, if you have any questions or want me to tell stories about Hikari here, I would love to, because I love talking about my cat. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns about Hikari, or what he thinks about living in California. He loves living in California, to answer that question. So that is our video. That is our hair everywhere. That is our film. That is our video. That is our show today. April. That's going to be Film Fridays with Finn. Hopefully starting in April. I have hair everywhere. Whoosh.